Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you guys are new here. So for today's video, guys, I am so excited, but we're going to be ranking all of my Lunar Beauty eyeshadow palettes. I'm going to be ranking it from my least favorite to my most favorite Lunar Beauty palette, along with some face palettes as well. So you guys want to see what my least favorite palette is to my most favorite, well then definitely keep on watching. Okay guys, so before we dive into today's video, I actually have a couple announcements for you guys, which is just so weird that I do, but it's so cool. But I gotta catch you guys up on my life. Okay, so for starters, I just want to let you guys know that Koa's surgery went really well. We definitely did find out some results from his x-ray, which I actually went into depth on my new Florida Life vlog. It's called, it's my weekly vlog where I've been, I kind of tell you guys why I haven't posted a vlog in like 2 months, and I got really vulnerable in that video. It is live right now for my Patreon members, but I'll make it live for our Florida Life on Wednesdays, so definitely stay tuned to that. But he is doing okay. He's recovering beautifully. Also on Friday, May 6th, my brushes are finally coming back at stock. They do restock on Friday, May 6th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys can use code Allie to save you guys 10% off my brushes, but they're finally coming back in stock. I'm so excited about that. And speaking of like codes and whatnot, y'all, this is just so insane, like so crazy. But Jaclyn Cosmetics gave me a discount code to give to you guys for a very limited time. Now, mind you, this is not an affiliate code. I do not get paid for this. I'm not on their PR list, but maybe this will be their step in the right direction. Who knows? At least I'm hoping. But if you guys use code Allie15, you guys will actually save 15% off the Dear Mom limited edition palette. This does retail for $49. You do get 20 shades in here, and the code is active from today until Friday, May 6th. You guys can use it at checkout on jaclyncosmetics.com. Again, I don't get anything from it, but I'm just hoping that if anyone uses the code, maybe they will see that and be like, you know what, maybe we should add this bitch to the PR list. I don't know, but here's hoping. But I wanted to tell you guys because I thought it was so cool when they reached out to me. I was like, wait, what? Like, Jaclyn Cosmetics is giving me a code? So super cool, totally unexpected. And last but not least, you guys actually reached out to me on Twitter and my DMs on Instagram to let me know that you guys were nominating me for the Emerging Makeup Influencer of the Year. What? I had no idea that could be a thing. You guys can nominate someone. So I'm gonna leave the link down below. I did nominate myself because I believe in myself, and you know, we gotta support oneself and show myself self-love. You know, I'm going through my mental health journey right now. If you guys want to nominate me, I'll leave the link down below. All you guys have to do is go to the category makeup and then go to the spot where it says Emerging Makeup Influencer of the Year. Type my username, which would be Allie Dawson 89. And that's it. That's all you guys have to do. So if you guys want to nominate me, I'll leave it down below, but do not feel obligated. I just thought it was so cool that you guys were actually DMing me saying, look, I nominated you. And I was like, wait, what? You could do that? So anyway, those are my announcements. Those are everything I wanted to tell you guys. I thought it was so cool. Like, that's never happened for me. So anyway, let's dive into the video. I just realized that I have been talking with this on my chin this entire time. I don't know what that is. What is that?
Look at this. Oh my God!
Okay, so as you guys know how much I love Lunar Beauty. I have loved Lunar Beauty ever since I reviewed the Greek Goddess collection, and Lunar Beauty is one of the first influencer brands to ever reach out to me to add me to PR. They're one of the first ones to give me a discount code. It just means so much to me, the support that Lunar Beauty has showed me over the year, and I really do love Lunar Beauty. If you guys have been on my channel for any point in time, you guys will have seen me talk about Lunar Beauty since 2018. I have been obsessed ever since. You guys know I have my iconic Aphrodite liquid lip. It's my favorite go-to red lip, and you guys know that his glosses and his lip oils are to die for, along with his liquid lips. But so are his palettes. So in today's video, I'm gonna rank my least favorite to my most favorite Lunar Beauty palette. Mind you, I love everything from Lunar Beauty, so just because it's at the bottom does not mean it's not a good palette. It just means that I prefer other palettes over this one. So before we dive into the palettes, I kind of want to go over the face palettes because I have everything. So the very first, like in the subcategory face palettes, we're going to talk about the Greek Goddess palette right here. This is his first highlighter palette, and this is the first time I ever spent like $100 on myself for a YouTube video. I bought bought everything. I bought the highlighter palette, the eyeshadow palette, the liquid lips that came with it, and I bought, like, it was like Zaya and Aphrodite at the time. I think there might have been a gloss, I think, but I bought it because I was like, oh my god, I want to like do it. And the video is so horrible. Like, the video is atrocious. I was wearing a red shirt. I did not know anything about lip liner. I did not know anything about doing my brows, and the eyeshadow is horrible. The audio was off. If you guys want to go have a good laugh and see where my videos used to be to where they are today, go watch it where I review this collection, because it's bad. But from my least favorite in terms of face palettes, we do have the Greek Goddess palette right here. Now, I really do love the packaging. I think the packaging is super beautiful. I love how he had the Medusa on here with a white background. Although his white background, because the way that it is textured, it stains very, very easily. And then when you open it up, you do have the big highlighters right here. I actually am wearing the shade Medusa right now on my cheek because I wanted to, you know, put it on for the video. And I will say this was a really cute highlighter palette. I do prefer his other highlighters. I think the Celestial highlighters, I do prefer those ones more over his actual like highlighter palette. But so many of you guys have been wondering where his highlighters are. If you guys have this in your collection, these are one of his highlighters. But I will say that this is a really cute little highlighter palette, and I don't really see many people doing highlighter bundles anymore. Like, I feel like he did this and then now it's no longer available on his site, but it was such a cool thing at the time. I really did enjoy playing with it, but it definitely is not used as much as other things in my collection. Coming in at number 3 for the face palettes, we do have the Moon Prism blush palette. First off, the packaging is just, it's on par. I think this is when Manny really started to hone in on what he creates for packaging and keeping everything kind of like uniform together, because like this one like definitely does not really fit the vibe of Lunar Beauty really, but this one you see this and you go, this is Lunar Beauty. Now, I absolutely love this blush palette. It is such a gorgeous blush palette. I have nothing bad to say about this in the slightest. It's just that he recently launched a new blush palette and I've been grabbing that one a lot more than this one. I think it's because I love the colors that are in here. I'm thoroughly surprised because at first when I first saw it, I was like, ooh, I don't know. But then now that I've been playing with it, I can't get enough of it. This is a gorgeous blush palette. Definitely must have in your collection. It just, another one bumped it out of its place. Another one bumped it out of its place, and that is number 2, the Nude Prism blush palette. First off, the packaging, Manny kills with the packaging. I freaking think the packaging is just so beautiful. I see it and I see Lunar Beauty. But there is something about this blush palette that I cannot get enough out of. I absolutely, at first, thought I was going to be obsessed with the shade Blaze and Peachy together. That is not my go-to blush combo anymore. My go-to perfect blush combo, and I know it's a little intense, but I take Zay, Peachy, and Pink Prince. I mix all 3 together to create the blush that I have on today. Because you guys know I'm not really into heavy blushes. I like a very soft flush on the cheek. I like a very soft tint of pink on my cheek, nothing where it stands out too heavily, because I am kind of heavy-handed when it comes to blush. So I like to have something very soft, effortless. It just gives me a slight pinky tinge without being overwhelming. So I think that these 3 right here is the perfect combination for me. I cannot get enough of it. Even though Zay does have a little bit of glitter into it, it just gives me just enough where I just kind of like glow. So I really do love this blush palette. I've been using this every single day that I wear makeup. I cannot get enough of it. It has been my ride or die since the moment I tried it. So, and then coming in at number 1 for the face palettes, we do have the Outer Dimension palette. I have been using this since I got it in December. This is the only thing I use in terms of a bronzer since December, except for my Rare Beauty. I do put on the cream bronzer and then I go over it with this. This has been my ride or die. I cannot get enough of this Outer Dimension palette. If you guys look on my Instagram, all the way to December, if you guys look at all my YouTube videos where I tag products, you guys will see that this is the only thing that's tagged for bronzer. I think this is such an incredible palette. Not only do you have an under eye setting powder right here, but you do have all your bronzers that you can mix and match. You could custom make your own, which I do. I take the shade Bronze Sky and just a little bit of Tan Sky. I mix the 2 shades together and it's the perfect bronzer for me. The way that it blends out, it's so effortless. It looks like you're airbrushed. I think this is such a well thought out palette. I love it so much. I will not be surprised if I start to hit pan, because I can see a little divot on this already. It is my go-to. I will not travel anywhere without it. Even when I went to LA, I was like, what do I do? Because it was just so heavy to fit in my makeup bag. I literally had asked Manny, do you have this particular shade just by itself? Because I can't, I need it. I needed. So this is such a well thought out palette. I think Manny did such a good job. It's my ride or die. This is what I would take with me on a desert island. Like I have to take that with me. So those are all my ranking for their face palettes. Now we're going to dive into the actual eyeshadow palette collection. So technically Manny rolled out with 8 palettes in the Lunar Beauty line, but I do have 9 here because I kind of want to mention it just because. But coming in at number 9, which is my least favorite palette, and it's not in Lunar Beauty, but it's just my least favorite Manny palette, and I have to just throw it in here just because, but it is the Morphe collaboration with Manny MUA. I'm not a fan of this palette. I actually don't think it's that pretty. I'm so sorry, Manny, if you ever see this, I'm so sorry. I'm just not a fan of this palette at all. I got it because I wanted to support Manny, but I just don't think this is my color scheme at all. I don't really care for the formula, and I just don't think it's aesthetically pleasing. From the packaging to the actual shadows on the inside, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. It's definitely my least favorite Manny MUA palette. So I want to just throw that in here just because, you know, but if I ever do see Manny again, I'm going to bring this with me so he can sign it. Just so I can have my least favorite signed from Manny. Okay, but in all seriousness, coming in at number 8 from my least favorite to my most favorite, we do have the first OG Life is a Drag palette. Now, the reason why this is my least favorite from Lunar Beauty, honestly, is because of the packaging. Like, I just don't care for the packaging. Now, yes, Manny's eyes are gorgeous here, but when you see this, I just don't see like Lunar Beauty when I see this. I don't see his brand. I don't see his marketing. I don't really see anything that ties into Lunar Beauty, minus like his name and his face being on here. Other than that, I don't see the correlation with his brand. I do think it's the least aesthetically pleasing palette in my personal opinion, just because it doesn't fit the vibes. And then when you open it on the inside, it's the same thing with like the little design that goes around the mirror. Now the shadows themselves are really pretty. I really do like how he laid it out from the neutrals to the colors. It made a really easy palette for so many people out there to use. Me personally would definitely gravitate more towards the colorful side than the neutral side, but I just didn't really care for the physical design and the packaging itself. Now this is discontinued. He no longer has this palette. I believe he did replace it with the facelift palette. But yeah, this was like my least favorite. When he rolled out with this, I was kind of like, okay, you know, I was trying to see the vibe, but I think he was trying to find like where he wanted his brand to go with this as well. But there's nothing wrong with the formula. The formula is great. I just don't care for the physical packaging, so that's why it's my least favorite. And I don't grab this one as much as the other ones. Just because I don't know. I usually, when a palette isn't as aesthetically pleasing, I tend to not gravitate to as much. Is that weird, or is that just me, or is that like other people as well? And you know what's so funny is that like both him and Laura both did this thing with like the little like design around the mirror. She did the same thing with her cat's pajamas, and she talked about it a while ago that she would like want to redo that palette because it does not fit her brand either. Like cat's pajamas is so different from the Laura Lee Los Angeles line. She has such a beautiful aesthetics now compared to that. It'd be really cool to see her kind of like redo the palette in the same way that Manny did. But yeah, that's my least favorite out of all the Lunar Beauty palettes. Coming in at number 7, we do have the Greek Goddess palette. Now this is kind of the same thing with number 8. This one just doesn't really fit the vibe of Lunar Beauty. When I think of Lunar Beauty, I'm really glad that I have it because it is one of the first it's the first video that I ever did for Lunar Beauty was the Greek Goddess collection. Again, I really do like how he has like a Greek Goddess theme with the Medusas on here. But then when you actually look at the physical colors, this is very much like a warm neutral palette with pops of colors. And granted, there's nothing wrong with neutral palettes. It's just this isn't as aesthetically pleasing as his other palettes are, not only with the packaging, but with the actual color scheme as well. I just don't gravitate to this one as often, and he doesn't even have this one on sale anymore. He did discontinue this from his brand, but I will say I'm very grateful that I have it because this introduced me to Lunar Beauty. I bought the Life is a Drag after I reviewed this collection because I was really impressed with how the formula was. But again, this is just one of those palettes I just don't gravitate to that often compared to other ones in his brand. So yeah. Memories though. I have such good memories of this palette. Coming in at number 6, we do have the Moon Spell Volume 2 palette. I'm just going to take a minute right here to appreciate the intro that I did for this video because I really did love the intro, so hopefully you guys enjoy it. Okay, so the reason why this is number 6 is because this was the first time that Manny did switch up his formula just a bit. So I did have some trouble with some shades, but it's also like the shade range as well. You guys know how much I love my colors, but this shade range definitely has more of a pinky purpley red vibe. And you guys know that that's just not really my vibe when it comes to colors. I'm all about the greens, yellow, oranges, blues. I don't really gravitate that often to pinky, purpley shades and reds, particularly because they have the ability to stain like crazy. And red shades tend to be really difficult for me to work with. I think that I always make myself look really sickly because how the red stains, and it just doesn't blend right for me. I suck with reds. I love a red lip, but like red eyeshadow, I'm horrible at it. And same thing with a little bit of the purples, because it's just so pigmented in the way that these are pressed and formulated. They definitely have the ability to stain, and man, can they really go south real quick. So I really do appreciate the fact that he created a second Halloween palette, because you guys don't know how much I love Halloween so much. But I just feel that this wasn't as good as I just feel like this wasn't I feel like this one wasn't as good as his original Moonspell palette. I love that one so much more because of the diversity of colors. And I also like the formula in that one a little bit more. The formula in this one wasn't bad, but I did definitely have some troubles with the shade Luna. That kept flaking on me, wasn't really wanting to stay. And one of the shades, Hilda, wasn't working as well, but Macy was beautiful. Jillian was beautiful. And I love that he really was able to, oh, and Alex was beautiful too. I love that he was really able to, you know, incorporate a lot of witches in here. It's a really beautiful thought out palette. It's just, I prefer his other one more. So if I were to go into like a Halloween palette, I think I'd pick up Moonspell Volume 1 more, but this one's still really nice in the terms that I get to at least dabble into if I want to mix and match with other palettes. So that's what I would do. If I need like a good purple, I'll definitely come to this palette, but I just feel myself gravitating a little bit more towards the other one. But I do love the packaging. I think he did such a good job with the packaging on this one. I thoroughly do enjoy it, and I absolutely love the intro that I did for that video. I love whenever he comes out with like new collections that I can make a fun video with, particularly Halloween, just because it allows me to be creative, so I really do enjoy it. Coming in at number 5, we do have the Strawberry Dreams palette. Now, this is where it got really difficult for me to rank the palettes, because I went back and forth between this one and number 4 like there was no tomorrow. I mean, like literally, I probably sat there for 30 minutes just back and forth, trying to go, which one do I prefer just a little bit more? So the reason why this one came in number 5, it's just because I prefer the other ones a little bit more. There is absolutely nothing wrong with this palette. I love it so damn much. Let's just take a moment to really appreciate the packaging. It is so gorgeous. I believe this is when he really started to, I think this is when he really started to dive into this particular style when it came to packaging. This is what really draws me in. This is when I see this, I'm like, this is Lunar Beauty. I stare at it and I'm like, God, this is like such a beautiful palette. Like from the design and the packaging, I'm like, this is so aesthetically pleasing. I'm so happy to show it off my makeup collection, because I'm like, damn, like, hot damn, look at how gorgeous that palette is. It's just so beautiful. He puts a lot of thought into his packaging alone. But when you look at the palette on the outside, first off, come on, that is so pretty. It's so thought out. I love the color scheme. And when you open it up, we have the shadows in here, and I did have some trouble with the shade Blue Diamond. That this one wants to keep crumbling on me, not on the eye, just like in the pan, because the way that's pressed, it just doesn't want to stay well, and it's almost like it's breaking. But the shadows themselves are beautiful. I had so much fun playing this palette, even though I never did a review physically on this palette that I recall. I did play with the Moon one. I did a review on the Moon Prism one, but I didn't do a review on this one. I think I just wore it in the video. Atrocious eye look, by the way. Another atrocious eye look from the one and the only. What a great way to represent Lunar Beauty, huh? Just like with no sense of blending whatsoever. But this palette right here is, again, definitely geared toward people who love a lot of pinks. Granted, there is some pops of colors, but mostly this is geared towards a pink palette. And again, those are colors that I don't necessarily use all the time. Like, I do kind of have a pinky look, but this is more like a pinky neutral. These are like really like pinky shades, and I'm just more into other colors than this, but it's still such a gorgeous palette. The formula in here is just amazing. I love this palette so much. It was so hard for me to pick between this one and the next one, but I just found the next one I gravitated to just a tad bit more for so many different reasons. But yes, this palette is beautiful. I freaking love it. If you guys love pinky palettes, if you guys like little pops of colors, I think this is definitely a good palette to get. And it's just so aesthetically pleasing. And the shimmers on there are just chef's kiss on that one. So good. Coming in at number 4, this is where I had the struggle. We have the Eternal Eclipse palette. Oh, guys, I freaking love this palette. This was so hard for me to put this in at number 4 because I have such good memories of this. First off, let's appreciate the packaging once again. I love how he makes everything so cohesive with all his other products. It is so aesthetically pleasing. He really does know how to package and formulate a collection. You could do so many wonderful eye looks with this palette. Not only do you have some pops of colors, but you definitely have some beautiful neutrals in here and some gorgeous shimmers in here and some gorgeous like silvers, golds, and bronze in here that I really do appreciate. Plus these blues are so beautiful. Like, I like about they're not like bright blues, but they're like deep blues where you can create a really gorgeous smoky eye out of this. And this black shade, Night Sky, so gorgeous. Now, the reason why this one did come in number 4 is because of the fact this is one of the first videos that Manny had ever commented on. In my video, I was thoroughly surprised that he had watched it. I don't think I did justice on the eye look. I'm still like in the process of learning, but I had talked about it in my video how Earthbender reminded me of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I didn't know at the time that he was a huge fan of the show, just like me. So kind of like where he first like commented on that, and I knew like, wow, you actually watched my video, and it was such a moment for me. Like, I had watched Manny for years, so to see him comment, I'm like, you watched my video? The fuck? You watched my video, my atrocious ass video, you watched it. Like, it was such a shock to me. So I had such a fond memory of this, and I cannot get over how gorgeous these shades are right here. Like Meteor, Gold Dust, Desert Sky, Adaminium, and Flare are some of the prettiest like silver, gold, bronze shades I have played with. I cannot get enough of these shades. These are great to dip into, and you can particularly take this shade and mix it with so many of his other palettes in his collection. It is such a versatile shade. I love it so much, and I had so much fun playing with this palette, so that's why it came in at number 4. All right, guys, so coming in number 3, we do have the Moonspell Volume 1 palette. I absolutely love this palette. The aesthetics of this is just pure everything. This really reminds me of Halloween, and I loved the intro that I did for that video. Again, let's take a moment to appreciate it. Like, I put so much time and effort into creating those intros. I love when he does anything Halloween, and I thought this was such a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous collection. Like, not only did he roll out with this, he came out with his like liquid lips and some lip glosses, like his black one, like Wicked. I use that every year now. That's my go-to black liquid lip, or black lip gloss. It's my go-to one that every single year that I've ever since I got it, because it's just a beautiful, beautiful formula. And then when you actually take a look at the palette on the inside, like, this to me is beautiful. Granted, you do have the rows of purples, but you have neutrals and you do have some pops of colors. Now, the greens in here I thought were so beautiful. I love the shade Mary. I love the shade Bonnie and Marnie with Hermione. I love the shade Prue. Like, he really just makes me like, oh, and Nancy. Like, he did such a good job with this. Like, he did such a good job creating the color scheme. Like, this to me really does remind me of the Halloween palette. Again, I can use it so much. It still complements the Moonspell Volume 2 very well. Like, you can kind of mix and match. But I loved the formula on this. It was just so creamy and buttery. The mats were so pigmented. They blended out beautifully. And this was such a fun palette for me to film with. Like, I literally had like 50 to 60 candles behind me, trying to light everything, trying to make it as beautiful as possible. And I remember in that video, Manny's dad actually commented on it. And it really just meant the world to me that like his dad watched my video. And it's just such a beautiful palette. I have so many good memories of this. I use this a lot during Halloween, and even now when I go into like Halloween looks, I still pick up this palette because of how gorgeous it is. He did such a good job with this, and it just makes me like it just makes me want him to do like Halloween every year, because I thought he did such a good job with this palette. I loved it so much. All right, guys, so coming in at number 2, and I'm sure you guys are gonna be surprised that I put this at number 2 because you guys know me so well. But number 2, we do have Life is a Drag Face Lift palette. Now, I absolutely love this palette. Now, granted, it's not as like on brand with all his other palettes, but I understand why he did what he did, because he kind of wanted to reinvent the Life is a Drag palette, add more shades in here and make it more versatile for so many people. So I get why he did what he did. And I have to say, I absolutely love this palette. He added way more color to it, definitely more neutral shades in here. And it's such a gorgeous palette. Like, everything complements each other in this palette. My favorite shade is shade Full Fantasy. I'm about to hit pan on this because I use this shade all the time. Literally, the shade Full Fantasy, Hunty, Sickening, and Beat, and a little bit Cake Face are my go-to neutral shades. When you guys saw me go to Glam Light event, this is what I wore. This is literally what I wore. I took the shade Hunty and Sickening and I just kind of blended the two together, put it all over my lid. Then I took the shade Full Fantasy like I did today and just blended it all over my lid as well. And then I took Full Beat, put it in the inner corner and brow bone, and then I kind of blended it out with Cake Face. That has literally been my go-to like neutral eye routine ever since I fell in love with ever since I tried it out, and it is such a gorgeous palette. Not to mention you have beautiful pops of colors in here. Like, you really do have beautiful pops of color. And guys, palette right here was one of the first times that Manny had reached out to me and asked me to be on his PR list, and I cried. Like, I will show you the video of my reaction to getting it. I only have one shoe on.
It's true.
Stop. That to me was everything, because I was never expecting a brand that I had loved for so long to want to send me PR. Like, that to me was life-changing, just because you guys don't know how much I love Lunar Beauty, and the fact that like Manny had personally reached out to me asking to like add me to the PR list was just like such a moment. And I'm gonna get teary-eyed just talking about it, just because it was such a moment for me to have a brand that I love so much believe in me enough to want to send me PR. Damn, I don't know why I'm getting emotional. It's so silly. It's so silly to want to get emotional over this. I don't know why. Life. That's all I have to say. Life. I think it's just because my mental health has definitely been shaky. Like, you guys you'll see it in my vlog that I will post on Wednesday for Florida Life. But this to me was just such a moment to me to have this sent to me in PR, because I just was never expecting it, and just meant the entire world that a brand I had looked up to. So I will always have such a special place in my heart, particularly for this palette, and because the shades are so pretty, and because I wore this to my Glam Light event, and I never felt more beautiful in my life. Like, my makeup turned out really beautifully. It took an hour and a half to do it, and I was really impressed with how it looked. I was like, oh my god, like, I feel like I look like a beauty guru, and I could go to these influencer events and feel beautiful enough to be there. So this will always hold such a special place in my heart because of that. And I don't know why, I just got teary-eyed talking about that. I just wasn't expecting that. Oh, Allie, you need to pull it together today. Okay, so coming in at number 1, which I'm sure is surprising to you guys, and it's a little surprising to me because of my love for color, but we do have the Nude Prism palette right here. First off, the packaging is just everything. It's so aesthetically pleasing. I literally have this as the top palette in my drawer because of how gorgeous this palette is. And when you open the inside, once again, Manny really outdid himself with the packaging. It's just so beautiful. It is just so beautiful. I cannot get over how aesthetically pleasing this palette is. And then when you open up the shades in here, like, so stunning. So stunning. And I'm not a neutral bitch. I'm not a neutral bitch. I'm a color whore. But this palette and other ones, I would definitely give them credit, have definitely been converting me to become a little bit more of a neutral bitch. But I'll still always be a color whore at heart. That would never change. But the reason why this is number 1 is because of so many different reasons. One, I love the way that he laid this out. I love that he did all the pinkies right here, all the shimmers right here, and all the neutrals right here. He made it so easy to create so many different versatile eye looks with this. I love the way it's laid out. 2, I think the shades just complement each other so well. You can create so many neutral eye looks with this. It's not even funny. And they're so easy and effortless to work with. My favorite combo from this palette, and it takes less than like 2 minutes to do, is the shade Milk Tea. I love this like mauvey purpley brown shade. It's gorgeous. I put it all over the lid like I have on right now. And then I just take the shade Laura and then I tap it all over the lid, and that's it. That's all I do. And sometimes if I'm cheeky enough, I'll take the shade Cherry Blossom and just blend it out just a little bit. But this for me took 2 minutes. I think it's such a gorgeous eye look. I love the way that I feel in it. I feel like this is something I would wear if I was still working my serving job at Disney. This is something I'd wear on a date night, girls shopping day, whatever it is. I would actually go to this eye look nonstop because it's so easy, it's so effortless, and I feel absolutely beautiful in this particular look. So this is why it's my number one, because I can't get enough of it. And these shimmers are something about them that they are just to die for. Like, they are so wet looking. And do you not see how that shade Laura just shines? It's so beautiful. And I also really do appreciate the fact that he created a shade for Sam. If you guys don't know, Sam was a fellow content creator here on YouTube, and she did unfortunately pass away. So Manny actually dedicated the shade to her, and I just think that's absolutely sweet of him. That's something that I would do for somebody. So this just has so much love to it. I use it almost every single day when I'm off camera. I could do so much with this, and it's such just a pretty aesthetically pleasing palette. I cannot get enough of it. You guys have seen me wear this look before. This is my go-to look. When I'm just now going to be doing like an easy, effortless look, this is what I go to. And this look took me less than 15 minutes to do. Less than 15 minutes. Can't... Oh! I didn't realize I was leaking. Yeah, I'm just a mess in today's video, but I can't get enough of it. I cannot get enough of how gorgeous this palette is, how gorgeous like this combination is. Like right now, I am wearing this on my eyes, I'm wearing the Outer Dimension, I'm wearing the Moon Prism, and I'm also wearing the Jaclyn Cosmetics Bourbon Lip Liner all over my lip, but then I also took the shade Dare Me, which is one of his lip oils, and I put it all over my lip. I am obsessed with his lip oils. Literally, this stays in my purse, this stays in my beauty room, this stays on my nightstand. I cannot get enough of Manny's lip oils. And you guys are so incredible. You guys sold out almost all of his lip oils. Now, the only shade that's still available is the shade Expose Me. But I do know that he has a restock coming very, very soon. I think within like the next couple, like next one, like I think like next week or so, he'll be restocking the rest of his lip we're going to be restocking his lip oil, so you guys have definitely got to check them out. But I cannot get enough of his lip oils. They are truly incredible. You guys have got to try them yourself. They're so hydrating, so shiny, they're non-sticky, they smell and taste amazing. They truly are phenomenal. And if you guys don't want to get lip oils, then you guys have to try his lip glosses at the very least, because again, these are amazing. My favorite shade is the shade Starlight. It goes with my beautiful lip combo between Zaya Perfection and Starlight. This is my go-to lip combo. Literally, this is what I wear all the time. All the time. You guys have seen me talk about this lip combo how many times now? Like, this is my go-to lip combo. So that is it for all of my Lunar Beauty, ranking from my least favorite to my most favorite Lunar Beauty products. You guys know how much I love this brand so wholeheartedly, and I'm so excited to say that if you guys want to purchase anything from this brand, you guys can use my code Allie, which will save you guys 10% off all these products I talked about today. But I just wanted to take a moment to thank Lunar Beauty and Manny Niue for giving me the opportunity to work with you guys, because you guys have truly been phenomenal. You guys have been so sweet and kind to me, and you guys believe in me, and that means more to me than you guys will ever know. And I want to take a moment to thank you guys, because none of this would have been possible if you guys haven't stood by my side, watched my videos, liked my videos, harassed Manny nonstop about me. That it's all because of you. So sorry to get emotional today. It's just been a day. But yeah, guys, that is it for today's video. I'll link everything I talked about in my description, from my bling brush restocks to the Jaclyn Cosmetics code to the American Influence Award nominations to Lunar Beauty. I'll have everything listed in the description along with what I'm wearing on my face today. But yeah, that's it for today's video. So if you guys like this video, please make sure you guys give this video a cheeky thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you guys have not already, because I do post 4 to 5 videos a week. Make sure you guys head over to my other channels, Are for Life, where you guys do get to see my cool, wonderful adventures, my amazing husband, Corey. And as always, a huge thank you goes to all these beautiful, wonderful Patreon members you guys see right here. Thank you guys so much for everything. And to my subscribers and viewers, thank you guys so much for being here. Whether you guys like this video, you guys thumbs down this video, you guys subscribed, you guys did not subscribe, either way, thank you guys so much for being here. I love and appreciate each and every single one of you. So with that said, guys, I love you, and I'll see you guys very next video. Bye! Also this week, my bling brush, also at, oh, it it just means so much to me. This is the only thing that I use in terms of blush besides my Rare Beauty bronzer stick. This is the only thing. I do think it's the least pleasing. I do think it's the least prettiest palette. I do think it's the least appeasing. The shade Full Fantasy, Hunting, Sickening, and literally the shade Full Fantasy, Hunting, and I also really appreciate the fact that he created a sham. And I can't believe I got emotional. That's crazy.